47 minutes ago, a classified deployment order was transmitted from the National Military Command Center at the Pentagon to United States Central Command Headquarters in Tampa, Florida. Within seconds, that order cascaded outward to every major American military installation from Ramstein Air Base in Germany to Camp Arifjan in Kuwait to the 5th Fleet Headquarters in Bahrain. The order initiated a sequence that the United States military has rehearsed in classified war games for over 2 decades but never executed. A sequence whose operational code name has never been publicly revealed but whose purpose is unmistakable. The United States of America is preparing a ground invasion of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Not airstrikes, not cruise missile salvos, not cyber operations or covert sabotage. A ground attack, boots on Iranian soil. The first indicators appeared on commercial satellite imagery 6 hours before the deployment order was confirmed. Massive airlift operations at Ramstein and Dover Air Force Base showed C-17s being loaded. This is not a contingency deployment. This is not a show of force designed to pressure Tehran into negotiations. This is an invasion force. The question that should be reverberating through every capital on Earth right now is not whether this is happening. The question is why. Why now? Why ground forces? It began with intelligence. The NSA intercepted communications between the Supreme Leader's office and the IRGC, indicating preparations for Operation Martyr's Dawn. The timeline for completion was estimated at 14 to 21 days, 3 weeks. That is the window that separates the current world order from a nuclear-armed Iran. The second event occurred 49 hours ago. An Iranian submarine launched an anti-ship cruise missile at the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower carrier strike group. The third event, a coordinated attack, struck Al-Assad Air Base. 23 American service members were killed. That number changed everything. Airstrikes alone were assessed as insufficient to destroy the Fordo enrichment facility, which is constructed inside a mountain under 76 meters of rock. The only way to guarantee the destruction of Fordo is to physically enter the facility and plant charges. This requires ground forces. Phase 1 is the suppression of Iranian air defenses through a massive air and cyber campaign. The objective is to achieve air superiority over Western Iran. Phase 2 is the insertion of ground forces through 2 primary axes. The 82nd Airborne will establish forward operating bases within striking distance of Natanz and Fordo. Phase 3 is the assault on the nuclear facilities themselves, conducted by Delta Force and SEAL Team 6. The timeline is estimated at 12 to 18 hours. The Iranian military is a formidable adversary. They have studied every American operation for 30 years, identifying weaknesses and developing asymmetric countermeasures. Iran's strategy is mosaic defense, allowing penetration and then closing around forces like a net. The goal is to make the cost of the operation so high that political will collapses. The global reaction has been seismic. Russia is sharing real-time satellite imagery with Tehran, and China has suspended purchases of U.S. Treasury bonds. The domestic political situation is more divided than at any point since 2003. Protests have already begun in major cities, drawing explicit parallels to Iraq. But here is the difference. This intelligence is not based on a single defector. The threat is real. The question is whether the response is proportional and justified. There are 2 possible futures now, and the world stands at the exact point where they diverge. One leads to invasion, the other to a high-stakes coercive gamble. The machinery of war, once set in motion, generates its own momentum. Political leaders find it nearly impossible to reverse course without appearing weak. The ground attack is being planned. History will judge not whether it was necessary, but whether we exhausted every alternative before we crossed the line.